Hello, guys. Welcome to another TGIF episode of the Anti-Pharmacist podcast. How was your week? I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, so we are in another Friday. That's how time has been flying, anyhow. But I'm sure that you are tired of hearing me say this, but I just can't wrap my head around it. How the days are just rolling into one another so quickly. All right. So, today's episode is about something I'm sure that you'll be interested in, and you will learn a lot from it. All right. So picture this, you went to the pharmacy to get your drug as usual, only for you to get home and check the expiry date and see that it expires next month. What comes to your mind? Like, oh, this pharmacist has put this drug on me, drug that has expired. Me, I will return it. It happens a lot, especially in community pharmacies, where patients return drugs because it expires next month, or it even expires this month. The expiry date says it's May and you are giving me this thing in April. I will not take it. And we now go ahead to explain why that drug is still safe and potent for you to use. You see, you should not bother yourself so much about expiry dates, and I'll explain why. So that is why the topic of today's episode is drug expiry dates, what you should know. So let's get right into it. First of all, what does expiry date mean, or expiration date? The expiration date is the final date that the manufacturer guarantees the full potency and safety of a medication. Alright? The key word there is guarantee. You see, drug expiry date exists on most medication labels, including prescription, over-the-counter medications, dietary and herbal supplements. And this expiry date thing, as it was mandated in the year 1979, when the law was passed that drug manufacturers are required to stamp expiration dates on their product. That is the day, like I said, that the manufacturer can actually guarantee that this drug you're taking, that we are giving to you, that you're getting from us, will be fully potent and safe for you to use. Okay, but then medical authorities have stated that expired medicines are safe to take, even those that have expired years ago. It is very true that the effectiveness of a drug may decrease over time, but much of the original potency still remains even a decade after the expiration date. Of course, there are exceptions like the nitroglycerins, insulins, and liquid antibiotics. But you see, there are many dosage forms. Solid dosage forms like tablets and capsules have more stability than the liquid dosage forms. So even their safety and potency extends for years more than liquid dosage forms. Okay, there are many studies that have been carried out, especially by the FDA and the military in the US, which is a seat of many research, about medicines. And most of the drug expiration dates in formulations from the study conducted by these people shows that 90% of more than 100 drugs, both prescription and over-the-counter, were perfectly good to use even 15 years after the expiry date. So the expiry date doesn't really indicate a point at which medication is no longer effective or has become unsafe to use. Okay, it is dependent majorly, that is the safety and potency of medicines, on the proper storage of medications, because proper storage may help to extend their potency. And I've spoken at length extensively actually on proper storage of medicines on one of my episodes, so you could refer to that to know how you can store your medicines so that they can work for you. Like I said, expiration dates are quite different from shelf lives. Okay, medications remain most stable in dry, cool spaces away from light. Okay, and proper medication storage helps the shelf life of medicines to be extended. You see, medicine's shelf life can actually be extended based on the proper storage of medication. We know that loss of potency can be a major health problem, especially when treating an infection with an antibiotic. Of course, also antibiotic resistance may occur when medicines are subpotent, and drugs that exist in solution, especially injectable drugs, they should be discarded once they pass the expiry and you see that there's precipitation or cloudiness or discoloration. Okay, so the best evidence of acceptable potency of medication beyond the expiry date is provided by a program called the Shelf Life Extension Program that was undertaken by the FDA and the Department of Defense in the US, and the aim of the program was to reduce medication costs for the military. And it found that 88% of over 122 different drugs stored under ideal conditions should have their expiry date extended more than 1 year. You see, with an average of extension of 66 months and a maximum of 278 months. 278 months is more than 20 years, if my calculations are right. So what I'm telling you is not that once your medication expires, you can still take it indiscriminately or as you like. No. What I'm saying is that even if you are getting a medication this very month and the expiration date on the label says this month, as long as the last day of the month has not passed, you are still safe to use that medicine. It hasn't expired in any way. It will still be potent and it will not harm you in any way. You will not take it and die, or you will not take it and fall sick or be poisoned. No. Because when we look at expiry dates, beyond all just the dates pasted on it, if a drug should expire, for example, what are the consequences of it being with the patient? There is a lot of wastage of medicines because of this expiry date issue, and there are a lot of controversies about it in the medical world. Because proper medicine disposal, especially in this part of the world, has not been perfected, has not been consolidated or streamlined. So, once you have an expired product, it constitutes a problem. The way you discard it, it could lead to pollution of various kinds, water pollution, environmental pollution. Some will release gases that are harmful and all of that. But when you know that, okay, even past the expiry date, up to a point, I can still use this medication, then all the problem of disposal is taken out of the picture. You understand? And the ideal situation would be that you do not have medications that would pass the expiry date even in your possession. That is, if unit dose dispensing system is carried out. But it cannot always be like that based on several factors. The ideal thing is when you need a medication, you should be given the exact number of tablets or capsules or volume of medication you need that will last you for the period of the treatment. But not all patients are in the hospital that can be administered medications. Once you are discharged or you are an outpatient, you have to take these medicines with you. And some are treating chronic conditions, some take supplements. So the medicines will be in their possession and they will take it at their discretion. Most times, some miss their doses, you see. So at the end of the day, some have these medications longer than they are supposed to. Some have supplements that they only take every other day or once in a while till the thing will expire in the house, which should not be. The monitoring of medication usage is not ideal. So there's a high probability that you have one or two medicines in your house that you find out later that have passed the expiry date. But I'm telling you that they are not fatal for you. They can still be potent according to studies. Ideal situation would be to retrieve all these medicines and carry out these tests on them to be sure of the potency, efficacy, like guarantee it again for you to use. But then the cost of this can be astronomical and it can be counterproductive at the end of the day, because even the facility for those tests, nor the money for them is not available. Do you see? So the best thing is to get the exact medicines that you need per time. Don't store medicines at home unnecessarily, okay? Try and adhere to your medication dosage so that it finishes on time. But in case where maybe you are taking a medicine now and before you know it, maybe you have 2 doses left and the expiry date is today and you have to take another tomorrow and the day after, you can go ahead and take it. That remaining 2 tablets will not kill you. Even till 1 week after, you can still take it. Let's say you bought a liquid dosage from, for example, maybe a suspension, and the expiry date says 10th of May, and you are supposed to take 10 mils every 8 hours. You've taken it till the 10th of May, and you still have like 2 doses or 4 doses left. You can go ahead and take it. It will not kill you. You should not discard it. That is what I'm telling you on today's episode. that even a few weeks after expiry, especially for supplements, you are still safe to use them, provided that you store them properly. Because even medications not stored properly could lose their potency, efficacy, and even safety before expiry date. I mentioned it on my episode about proper medicine usage, so you should go back and refer to the episode. Go back and listen to it. All right. I believe that I've been able to convince you that you should not fight your pharmacist when they give you medications that will expire in 2-3 months or even the next month. It is still potent and safe for you to use. All right. They are not trying to push it on you or anything. They are still giving you the medication. They are professionals, so they know when a drug will not be safe for you again. They will not give you things that will harm you. Literally, that is the truth. So you don't have to go about looking for medicines that were only produced last year, saying that it will be more efficacious than one that was produced 4 years ago. Provided they are ideally stored under proper conditions, they will still be effective. Drugs don't just magically turn bad the next day after expiry. Do you understand? It's a gradual process and it's not exponential. It takes a lot of time because these things are chemicals. You understand? So that is what I've come to explain to you today. That scare about expiry, please take it away. I hope that you understand me. Please take it away. All right? So that is it on today's episode of the Anti-Pharmacist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening up to this point. I'll be expecting your questions on this. Please bombard me with them in the comment section or via the DM on our various social media platforms like IG, like X, LinkedIn, and all of that. I'll be sure to answer you. You can also mail me on antifamacistpodcast@gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer your questions, to reply you and all of that, to connect with you basically. And please do not forget to like, to share, to subscribe to this podcast. Okay, it means a lot to me. It gives this podcast more visibility and takes this premium information to as many people as need it and will benefit from it. Thank you so much once again for listening. Till next time, stay healthy and God bless you.